Hey folks, you are most welcome to the amazing episode of Rising Beings that we call Rags to Riches. And today we have an interesting guest who is joining us all the way from London, and she is going to share with us that how one could write their book and publish it online internationally. So, dear guest, you are most welcome on the show.
Thank you so much, Abhinandan.
Perfect. So, Lily, the audience is super excited to get to know more about you and how did you start.
So, I'm a book publisher and I create books that transform the world, that will elevate your brand and get you speaking worldwide. And I organize large events for influential entrepreneurs to connect with opportunities. And I'm so excited to be here because I find that when you become an author, you connect with so many opportunities you would never have. For example, to meet exciting people like you.
Awesome. So that's really very interesting thing. And let's go ahead get started with the questions that we have. Is first of all, I really would like to ask, how did you start your publishing journey?
Great question. Many years ago, I came to London with €100 in my pocket and two suitcases full of hopes and dreams. And 8 years later, I was still feeling like it's my time now. Have you ever felt that way, where you feel like, wow, the world is your oyster, but all of a sudden something stops? And what stopped for me was just, I had this feeling like I hadn't done anything with my life. Yes, I traveled a little bit. Yes, I was working as an au pair, okay, which is a very cheap babysitter in London. And despite that, I still had a really great life because I was living in mansions where these people were living. I had my own car. I had a red car, So I was living a very leisurely life, but it felt like something was missing. Now, if you're listening, I'm sure at some point you get into this stage where you feel like something is missing in your life. And my moment was then, and I decided to do something. Now, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I just knew I had to do something. And that something for me became publishing my first book. And that book was called Meet the Nanny. Now, after publishing it, I discovered nobody really wanted to meet the nanny or read about Meet the Nanny. But what they did want was to meet the author. So what was really interesting for me was that after 22 sales to my friends and family, okay, of this amazing book, Meet the Nanny, I discovered that everyone was asking me, how can this book help me? And the truth is, I hadn't thought of that. I was just publishing it for me. And what was funny about that was that very quickly I realized I had published the wrong book that nobody wanted to read. But I also discovered that all of a sudden I became an authority. And before, it was so hard to get a job or to get, business opportunities or to collaborate or to meet really exciting people, because everyone, when they were finding out I was a nanny, despite the fact that I was meeting, let's say, lawyers and accountants and exciting people, entrepreneurs, they didn't want to really hang out with me, okay? But the minute I published a book, I became a magnet for opportunities because they all wanted to explore opportunities, to discover how they could publish their book, to give me job opportunities, to start doing business with me, for me to help them promote their stuff or their business. So many doors opened for me. And that's when I decided, wow, that's an extraordinary way for more people to become magnetic to opportunities. And I decided to help more people. I started speaking around the world about that. And since then, I impacted more than 1 million people online and 10,000 people in global stages. And I was invited to speak in 20 countries, and I spoke in actually 5 countries. And I'm still going. And my mission is to impact 100 million people, to be happier, to go after what they want, to share their stories, and to create wealth through books that transform the world. Now, the journey was not an easy one. And if you ask me, then I'll tell you more about that.
That's really an interesting journey that you have been through, right? So I would say yes, everybody do have the dream that they want to get started with something and make it really big, and then they find themselves stuck, and then they find something and goes up, it works for them, right? And also, as you mentioned, that there was an interesting point that nobody wanted to read your book. So you realize that there was something that has to be corrected as of now, so that people start to read the book, right? So that was an interesting part that you learned from your own mistakes, you just analyzed, and that's how you went ahead, right? So you have came really so far, and as you mentioned that you have made it to 20 plus countries, you have spoken like close to 20 plus countries, and here you are once again on a podcast which is like uh, which has the audience base close to from 50 plus countries. So it's really going to be interesting, right? So please do let the audience, as you mentioned, that you found there were a couple of mistakes in your book, in your first book writing. Can you please let the audience that how do one begin with writing their book?
Great question. So the first thing you have to think about before you even write it, what's your objective? Okay, so my initial objective, my first book, was just to write a book because I just felt like, oh, I'm going to leave a legacy, and that's perfectly fine as an objective. Okay, now if you're, very wealthy and you've already got, a wide experience, and you just want to share something and you don't care so much about who actually reads it, you just want to leave it to your grandchildren, that's a perfectly fine objective. But I want you to think bigger, because every single book is going to have a much wider reach than you possibly imagined if you use it the right way. Okay, so even if you were to consider just giving it to your grandchildren, I still think it's important to write it in the right way. So everyone says, don't judge a book by its cover.
Wow.
And the reality is that everyone does. So that's the reason why you should aim to have a brilliant cover. Okay, so once you have decided what your topic is going to be, you have to create a really good cover, because that is your image. But before you even do that, you have to think about, okay, what is my objective? And it could be, okay, I want to impact more people. Now, if you're thinking about, I want to impact more people, you have to be quite specific about these more people, okay? Because if I ask you, okay, how many more people? You have to be thinking, okay, I want 10 million more people or 1,000 more people, because you have to know when you have actually achieved your dream, because then you have something to work with. Your mind is kind of thinking in a structured way. You're thinking, okay, I want to impact more people. Okay, here's 2 more people. Are you satisfied now? No, you're not, right? Because you have an unclear idea of how many more people you want to actually help. And why? And you could be even someone living access to internet, you could still make this happen for you. Okay, and you could still, I believe, monetize your passion. Okay, as long as you do it the right way. So think about, okay, how many people do I want to help? With what? What is my true intention? And this intention could vary so much. Could be, I want to speak to more people. Okay, how many more people? 10,000 people? 100 million people? So be very specific about that. Okay, I want to do workshops and courses. Okay, be clear about that. Or maybe I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to do maybe affiliate marketing, or I want to just give this book as a giveaway, and then for people to buy something from me online, or I want them to buy a property. So there's so many possibilities with it, but you have to be very clear about what you want to do and what you definitely don't want to do. So once you have this intention very clear, you think about, okay, how many people are likely to be interested in this idea that I have? Because if your idea is to write about your personal story, that's great. But the problem is, people care about your personal story if you put it in a blueprint they actually care about. If it's something that is solving a problem they have, or if you are a celebrity, yes, they could be interested in your story, even if you haven't done anything in particular very special. But for most people, I would say find something that millions of people search. Now, a few years ago, I would say 12 years ago, I published a book. It's called English from Zero to Hero, Learn English Fast, 150 Ways to Learn English Fast. And what was interesting about that is that I started this channel, and this channel had just one video. And on it, it said, learn English fast. But before I started the channel, I researched and I discovered that millions of people are searching for the term learn English fast. So So what ended up happening is that I currently have 2,000 subscribers for a channel, which I forgot the password to and I can't have access to. And the only thing that channel said was learn English fast. There was a video of 20 seconds on it of me in Romania just saying, hi, in this channel, you're going to learn English fast. But that was enough to get 2,000 subscribers. Now, those people are interested in learning English fast. So all of a sudden you have an audience very much interested in what you have to offer. So the idea is find first the topic, find out whether the topic you want to write about is something that is interesting to millions of people. Are they searching for that in Google? So there are some specific tools you can use, okay? The first one is called Google Keyword Planner. You just type it in Google and you're going to land on this place which says visit Keyword Planner. And then you're going to type your proposed topic. And there you are going to see how many thousands, or in some cases, how many tens of people are looking for a particular keyword. And for certain keywords, there are very few searches, hardly any. And for other keywords, there are so many. So to give you an example, law of attraction has about between 100,000 and 1 million searches per month in the UK. And I'm not sure how many in India, but if we were to look in Google Keyword Planner, we would be finding that information as well, because you can search it by country or you can search it by the world. But because we are going to post this book that we're going to publish, we're going to put it on Amazon, then it's going to be relevant what people search globally. Okay, so you can look for how many millions of people are looking for that particular keyword and then decide to write a book about that exact keyword. And if you can actually term the name of your book exactly as the term that is being searched, that is even better. Okay, so that's why, for example, if you were to write something about law of attraction, then you could get, quite a lot of interest. Then if you were to write something about AI right now, I also think there's, multi-millions of searches related to that. If you were to write something about AI productivity tools, and again, you can see how many people are searching for that. So for example, if you type ChatGPT or if you type some other tool, you will see how many people are searching for that. And then that's the reason why many marketers are making millions right now with this particular topic, because so many millions of people are searching for that particular topic. Right. And then you have to basically look and find the right topic first. Now, once you have found the right topic, then yes, you could use the new technology and have, ChatGPT write it, and you could have some other tool like AI tool to rewrite it. But I don't currently use that. I currently still write the books myself. And I use ChatGPT just to get maybe some ideas. And but I have seen a lot of marketers do that. I don't know really the implications in terms of like legal implications of writing, with ChatGPT and then publishing it, and how complicated that's going to be later down the line, whether there will be any duplication stuff and, copyright issues and so on. But at the moment, I'm just publishing the books in the normal way. And one key thing is also, once you have decided what the topic is and you gave it a really good name, you create a really great cover. And I suggest having your face on the cover, because that will enable people to recognize you, especially if you aim to be a speaker, and to put the title very, very big so people can read it from far away, because you have to remember that people will be seeing this on their phone a lot of times in Amazon. So the phone is already quite small, and then the book cover is going to be quite small as well. So the title has to be very, very legible. That's very important. So once you've done that, you need to also create a structure, so an outline for the book, and make sure that the outline is, again, something that is written from an outcome base. So it's written as a result. So discover how to X, Y, and Z. So people are interested in reading that particular chapter, or, and the other thing is, once the book is already completed, to publish it and to make it look like a Lamborghini rather than like a secondhand Volkswagen. So the image really matters. Okay. Now, the book is a vehicle, and it's a vehicle, in the same way that a vehicle could, you could get to, to your workplace very well in a secondhand Volkswagen, and you will get to your workplace as well in a Lamborghini. The importance is how you are perceived in the process. Okay, so do you want to work with people that are elevated? Do you want to work with elevated clients that have affordability, that value you for your work? Then it's important to just have the best possible image within the budget that you currently have.
All right. So I can see over here that you have shared the structure over here. That is so legit, and one could write you know, the book in a structured way. And you also shared the pros and cons, like what are the things that people need to take care of while writing their book. And there was one more thing, as you mentioned, that uh, you do not use the chat GPT like some AI tools, because you think there might be some duplication issues in future. So is that the only reason that you do not use ChatGPT a lot, or it might be like there must be some other reason you do not recommend people using the AI tools?
So I would say it's not that I don't recommend it. It's just that I need to get more legal advice about that, what the implications are. Because let's say that I'm going to be typing my instructions there, and I publish a book that is very, very similar to another person. What are the implications going to be? I don't know at this point. So at the moment, I'm choosing to, yes, I use ChatGPT, or I use other like AI tools like copy.ai, I think it's called, and some other ones. And I use them mainly to gather ideas, but not to write like an entire book from A to Z. I just use it to gather some potential ideas of what something could be used for. So I use it for titles, title suggestions. I use it for even the outline can be written with ChatGPT just to give you an idea. But then again, you would have to give it your own thoughts. And I do think, however, you can use it for, let's say you have a particular story, you can tell ChatGPT your particular story, and then it's going to create something original because this is your story. So nobody else will have done particular things that you have done. So in that case, I think it's okay. But it's just about being very, very careful, and then maybe using another AI to rewrite it. And that way, yes, you can speed up the process a lot. I do, however, use ChatGPT and many other tools for other things. So I use it for references, for writing recommendations, for writing letters. I use it for a lot of different things. But just in cases where I have to publish a book at the moment, I'm not using it just to write it top to bottom. I'm just using it selectively for the outline. And it is a tool that can be used to publish and write a lot faster than ever before.
That's so awesome, right? And there was one more thing, as you mentioned, that while you are writing a book and you are supposed to publish it, so it comes to the cover, right? So one needs to take care of how their cover is going to be, because you mentioned in the starting that there is a saying that do not judge a book by its cover, but people do, right? So, of course, people do, and that is why we need to take care of that. So, I believe somewhere or the other, I am good at like maybe creating a good ebook, or the ebook cover. I've not written a book, but so far I've designed some ebooks. So I feel that I give the good headline or title. I suggest it to the people who are writing the books. So I keep on doing often. So I really love enjoying that, and people can connect with me. I can help you with that. That's all right. So moving forward over here to the question that you mentioned over here, one more thing. Uh, that's my question coming up. How one could decide that how their headlines should be and their sub headlines should be, and then how one could go ahead with the para. Would you like to throw some light on this?
Yes. So one key thing is to write about things that people care about, but also to kind of give people a system for how to do something from A to Z, whether it's A, B, C, D. Sometimes you could have a 5-step system or a 3-step system or 7-step system, whatever it is. And then you can have every chapter could be one part of that particular system. And then within that chapter, you could create some topics that you're going to cover there, and then you arrange them in the right order, and you do that before you actually start writing. And if you do it like this, you're going to find that writing the entire book is going to be a lot faster. And once you have the different topics that you're going to cover, let's say that the topic is determination, then one way that you can rephrase that is to turn it into a bold statement, like become more determined. Or let's say if the topic is health, you could call it, I guess one thing could become, become healthier. And then as a subheadline, you can have drink more water,
Right.
I know, go for a walk. So you're telling people exactly what they should be doing. And I really prefer the books that have headlines as opposed to just big bulks of text. Because if you have, let's say, a mini headline and then let's say a paragraph and then another mini headline and another paragraph and so on, I find that quite easy to follow. It's quite easy to understand for readers. And I
Right.
prefer to do that for the entire book. And it's important to just phrase those particular paragraphs in a way that every single paragraph it's very clear what every paragraph is about. And you're also giving almost like a call to action to the entrepreneur or to the reader about what they should be doing in that particular, that's what they are learning in that particular chapter and in that particular paragraph. And also the other thing that's important is to have some sort of call to action to download something. For example, download a template, a cheat sheet, a PDF, something that will enable you to connect with your readers further in your email list.
That's something interesting, right? So what I feel is that the more we go down into it, there would be more to explore. So I would recommend people to go connect with her, get the personal sites from her, first of all. So moving forward to the another question I really would like to ask. Do you think that I could have asked better question over here that you think I have missed on asking?
Not necessarily. I do think that publishing a book is not only about publishing a book. Okay. So it can be, but you shouldn't allow it to be about that. Okay. Publishing a book is about branding you as a person. And you could choose to turn the publishing of one book to elevate your brand. And when you elevate your brand, when you put, for example, your face on the cover of the book, and then when you become a speaker and you start speaking about that topic and you appear on different podcasts, and also when you're doing that you show up in a very tidy way, that you iron your shirt, that you put on a beautiful smile, that you wear your best clothes, even if you only have a t-shirt, wear your best thing that you have within your budget. And there are some very small hacks that you can use in order to look your best, to look really interesting as a person, and at the same time to give value. And I think the most important thing is never forget to give value, and never forget to also give so much value that people have no chance of even saying no. So even if you were to do a book launch, for example, give them a lot of value, a crazy value for them to just download the book on the day of the launch to make sure that you're going to sell a lot more books. Because when you sell a lot more books, that builds your credibility, you become a best-selling author, and then from then on, you continue building your brand. And I think one of the most important things for me about publishing a book is that you transform yourself in the process. You become a better person, you structure your thoughts, and because of that, you transform your world, and because of that, you transform the world with your thoughts.
Perfect. That's so awesome. So there is one more thing after we just cover this personal branding stuff. Let's say people have come to the conclusion now they have to get their book launched on Amazon. How one could follow the step? What are the steps one could follow?
If you want to launch your book on Amazon, one important step is to first set a date, then to set a price that is convenient for the reader to download with very little thinking, and also to give them a massive incentive for them to download it at a certain time, whether it's something that is, a series of courses, online courses, or something absolutely crazy value that if they don't buy at that time, they will miss out on, so that you ensure that they buy at that particular time, and also so that you ensure that you have a bigger market to promote to, and then also that you set a time when everyone is going to buy, to make sure that you gather everyone's efforts together and you're not dispersing. Okay. And the other thing is to think about, give them incentives for buying more books as well. So you could say, okay, if you're going to buy 5 books, you're going to get this incentive. And if you buy 20 books, you're going to get this other incentive, and so on, to make sure that that way you're going to sell a lot more books. And that's one of the strategies that I would recommend.
All right, awesome. I really would like to say thank you for sharing all your strategies over here. And I really would like to say thank you to the audience who has been over here listening to us. And I really love your uh, respect that you do by watching the videos coming over here and educating yourself from the amazing experts like Lily over here. And once again, dear guests, thank you so much for being over here, sharing the amazing insights filled with so much of rich knowledge. Once again, thank you so much for inspiring the audience to go ahead with their writing the books and publishing it online.